we created a transaction, we added parts, we fetched the unit price from the data table. So we allowed user to enter quantity. So basing on that, we are calculating extended price. So after that, we allowed user to enter discounts, and we have a limit for the discounts, maximum discount, and we maintain one more flag: is approval required or not. And final price we are calculating basing on the discount what user entered along with the extended price. So we have we have some fault here. So the maximum discount limit for this part is 50. User entered 75, and here it's 25, and user entered 30. So both are not allowable things when we see. So to avoid that, we can add validations. And one more thing we need to consider is approval required or not. If there is any case uh, like in the backend, so if there is any condition like for this particular product, if the maximum discount is 50, if it's greater than that, if user is expecting, so we can trigger for approvals. So the condition is like that. So in that case, we need to trigger approvals with the help of submit action. So first we'll see validation rule. After that, we'll go to approval. So let's create a validation rule to restrict this. Navigating to my process. List of documents. Main document. Rules. Sorry, we are dealing with line level row, right? So let's open subdocument rules. So what's the difference between subdocument and main document rule is whenever you write a subdocument rule at subdocument level, so that whatever rule you write, so that rule will run for every line item on the transaction. Right now, this is our transaction, right? There are two rows here, nothing but two parts. So whatever the rules we write at subdocument level, every rule will run for every row. That's how it executes. We don't need to loop on the total line or total subdocument. So we just need to tell what it needs to do for one particular rule. So it will repeat it for all the rules automatically. So let's add a validation rule. So I'll say validate discount. So we need to validate this when we are submitting for approval. So once we fetched the price, we applied discounts and calculated the final price. So now we want to submit the code for approval. So this code is finalized. So now we want to make sure it is approved and no conflicts are there. So in such scenario, so we need to check this invalid discount, right? So our action should be submit. This is what we created, right? So when we are typing submit, it is showing all these actions, because when we created submit, if you observe, there are 4 more set of actions got created. We also discussed about it. Approve, whether to approve a particular reason or not. Reject, also same, to reject or not. Request for approval is when we are clicking submit action, if there are any reasons created, if we created any approvals, so then if at least one approval is there, then it will execute request for approval instead of submit. Otherwise it will directly execute submit, and it will perform whatever the step transitions is there on that submit action. And one more thing is revise is nothing but after you are done. So right now we are done with all the changes, right, on this transaction. So we just need to submit this code. So for example, let's treat there are no conflicts here, this discount and all. So if we click submit action, so it will be submitted automatically when there is no conflicts. So after that, if you want to change in the discount, for example, you submitted with 75% discount. So if you want 80% discount, So you want to revise the code. So if you perform the revise code action, so the code will come to the, we need to write a step transition for that. So then the code will come to the draft step again, like whatever the step according to your business, it will come there. So then you can revise, I mean, you can modify your discount or pricing or whatever you want, whatever the changes you require. So then again, you can do respective steps, and again, you can submit it for approval. For such scenarios, you will need revise action. And submit is whatever we created. So we want it on performing submit. So if we write on submit, so what it will do is, so when we click submit action, if there are no approvals on the code, if there are no approvals on the code, then only this action submit will perform. If there are any approvals, then request for approval will be performed. So we need to make sure this validation runs for both. Submit, request for approval. Our condition is, if discount is greater than max discount, and we should also check is approval required or not. If it is not required, then we need to validate it. This is an illegal discount. We can't allow it. If there is any approval, so then we can't restrict the code. We need to send it to the approvals. So our case should be discount greater than max discount, and approval required should be no. Then only we will validate it, right? So that's why those are the two conditions we need to consider. Discount, see the variable name discount, and max discount. Okay, we don't have values to select here, right? Just type advanced, define function. We are comparing two attributes, right? That's why we are selecting advanced. So here our condition should be discount and max discount, and is approval required. Let's quickly add them. We need to open the line tab, third tab, check for discount. Yeah, max discount, discount, and is approval required are required attributes. I'm selected it. I'm going back to my editor. So just import all these variable names so that we won't get into a spelling mistake kind of errors. I'm opening a notepad. So this is one condition, and we have one more condition. Is approval required should be no. This is boolean, right? Sorry, this is also text, right? So we should check it is yes or no. So we need both conditions, right? Let's make sure. Guys, 1 minute. Yeah, sorry guys. And wherever we are writing, this is the condition for the rule, right? So always you can observe it's here the expected return type is a boolean. So once we all know, so when this rule should run, so if it is approval, is approval required should be no, and we don't want approvals, right? So that is also we adding in the condition. Yeah, here you should observe equals to should be it's not assignment operator, right? It's a comparison operator, so it is double equals to, and discount and maximum discount we are checking. I guess I selected a wrong variable name or what? Okay, here the spelling is wrong. Yeah. So now we should return true. Otherwise, so this is our expected condition, but we are mentioning return false here is, so we are saying what if this condition got satisfied. So we should also say what is this condition got failed. So that's why we are returning false here. Let's validate it. And one more thing is when you are writing this boolean values, you don't need to enclose in quotations. So this is a boolean related keywords, true or false, boolean related values. So we got no errors. Now we are done with the condition. So we got to know when this rule should run and when this rule should not run. Yeah, sorry guys. So now the third section is components to validate. What we need to consider. So in general rules, we have validation. Sorry, in general rules we have action part, right? The general introduction section, condition section, and action section. So here we need to validate. So what we need to validate here? Here the discount is invalid. So that we are checking, right? So our action attribute is going to be discount. So when we are checking this condition, if that is entering, if this condition got satisfied, that means when this validation rule will run, if this condition got satisfied, that condition is nothing but if the discount is greater than maximum discount, right? So here it's the predefined structure, we can't change it. So we need to make sure this both are under sync. So what I will do is discount greater than 0. So here the condition got satisfied, that is in the conditions section itself we are making sure that this validation rule should run. So now we don't need to give any explicit conditions. So simply I'm making is if discount is greater than 0, that will all obviously will be true, right? Because if this condition got satisfied, someone else has entered some discount, it should always be like more than 0. So that's why I'm selecting this condition. So now what we should do is here the message, what message we should show to the user. So let's type like please enter lesser discounts, or like whatever you write. This is just a sample uh, message. So and one more section you can see is message location. Here if you see there will be two options here, top and attribute. What is the use of this is, if you see the transaction, so right now if the issue is with, for example, only with the first row or with the second row, so whatever the message we mentioned there, so that message will be appeared at the second row. If we select it as top instead of attribute, if we select it as top, so then the message will appear at the top of the code screen or transaction screen at the top. So that's the use of it. So where the message should be shown. So let's leave it at attribute level. So I'm saving it. Let's deploy. Yeah, it got deployed. So we already have submit action here, right? Let's refresh this code. So now we have these discounts and I'm performing submit action. So now we are seeing a message, could not perform action submit. So this is the action we linked our validation rule to, right? So that's why it's saying, and validation rule exists on following one attributes. So like we may add multiple attributes basing on our conditions. So it will show the list of attributes. Right now the error is with only one attribute, right? So it's saying discount. So discount is the attribute, and we wrote some message also. So we selected the message position as attribute, right? That's why it's showing in red color here. If we hover it, it will show you the message. Please enter a lesser discounts, like this. Why it is not showing for the above line is because here it is approval required. We also considering this condition. So whenever it's no, so then only we are triggering this validation rule. That's why it's showing here. If you won't consider this flag, so this then this rule will also get encountered with this validation rule. So that's how the validation rule will work. So whenever we click, we are clicking submit action, it won't perform the submit action. It will restrict it from being performed. So that's the use of validation. So now user need to enter some other like discount. So let's try 20. So I'm now, again now I'm performing submit action. I changed it to 20. So now we got no error because for this approval is required, we are ignoring it. For this approval is not required, but we are considering it. And the condition, the main condition is discount is not greater than maximum discount. That's why when we click submit, so there is no error got triggered. And one more thing is after clicking submit, so the general business scenario, like in almost like whatever the projects I work, so on submit we generally maintain step transition because once it is submitted, if there are any approvals, so we'll treat it as pending for approvals, or if it is submitted there are no approvals on the code, so then we treat that code as approved code. So like in every business almost when I see, so there should be a step transition on this. So unlike other actions, so it's your it differs with the business, but most of the businesses on submit they need like step transition. So let's check the step transition. So I believe we didn't write any step transition on submit. So if we see the step variable name underscore step underscore var, so you can see it as start step. So that means there is no step transition got happened on this code yet. So similarly, when we if you observe, so we created approve action, some test action. So when we click it to perform the submit action, I mean to change the status, so we made it to approved step. So that's why, that's how similarly you need to do how with submit action. So this is the exact scenario for approved status. So this is just to demonstrate you the step transition. Ignore, you can ignore this. So that's how you will write step transitions. And one more thing is, so this is, so once it is performed and no reasons got triggered, this code will be moved to the submitted status, I mean approved status. But here there is an issue. Max discount is 50 and enter discount is 75. We are still calculating the final price. We are not restricting it. So that we need to consider. So we don't have validation here, right? So this should be treated with, I mean dealt with approvals. I'm navigating to the process. Main document, actions. So submit action. So I'm opening it. So wherever, whenever you want to like define some approvals, you should go to your submit action. And one more thing is you can create multiple submit actions as per your business. So I'm just opening the submit action. In submit action is the area where you can build your approvals. So if you observe the submit action I just opened, so here there is something called approvals, edit approvals. So click on this button. So when you open approvals, if there is any thing already built, like any reasons or any approvals you already got mentioned, so it will show you some structure. We will call it as reason tree or approval tree. So what the list of reasons we call it as reason tree. Approvals tree. So this will contain the list of reasons. Approvals tree is nothing but the list of approvers who needs to approve a particular issue or a reason. So this okay, I can say this as a subset of reason tree. This as a subset of reason tree. Yeah. So and yeah, one more thing. So when we created a submit action, so we have a set of actions got created automatically, right? Similarly, there will be set of attributes got created. We need to make sure to track these approvals. What is the current approval? What are the total list of approvals? Who needs to approve? For example, if I am the approver, so when this reason got triggered, if some user performed submit, so then that reason or that condition or that situation should notify me. Whenever I open that code, I should see that particular approval is there. This is the reason. Whether you want to approve or not, you need to decide like that. To show something related to the approvals, we need to add some approval related, submit action related attributes on the UI. So let's open those attributes. I'm just navigating to my process, main document, layout. So now we got the layout open. So now let's add attributes. So you can like people, we will organize everything like in different panels if you don't want to mix up everything. So generally like in most of the projects they will keep a separate section, sorry, tab. I'm adding a panel, that's why it didn't show up. So now I'm adding a new tab. So here you can see approval related actions. So you need to add all these four action 1 2 3 4. So I'm adding them. Yeah. So these 4 actions we need them. So we can see on the UI how they are useful. So I'm simply saving it. Let's deploy it. I'm just refreshing the transaction. So earlier, if you observe, you didn't see this tab. So whenever you have only one tab, it won't show you. If you have multiple tabs, and it will show you the even first tab also. So earlier, this tab section at all is not there because there is only one tab. Because of 2 tabs, it is showing right now we are in the first tab and there is one more tab. So if you click it, so we can see the attributes, whatever we added. So these are all the approvals related attributes. So approval status, it is saying right now, no approvals are pending because no active reasons are there on the code. And approval revision is nothing but, so whatever the transaction we have, so if we perform any revision, I told you, right, if you have any changes, so we will revise the code. So it will make a counter of it. So how many times you revised, something like that. And approval status, we just saw. Approval history is nothing but, so whatever the approvals related activities are done. So for example, you submitted for approval. So if there are any reasons, so the currently pending approvals, if someone got approved, so this X person got approved this reason. So like that, everything will be listed out here. And my approval is nothing but, for example, right now we are discussing on this discount reason, right? So this discount reason, if I name it as a reason, and if I give myself as an approver, so it should show currently pending approval is this one. So you need whether you want to approve or not, and its reason name. So like that. So the current reason related or approval related information, it will show here. So let's add our reason and we can see these things. Let's add a reason. I can say, so this is my reason name. So I just added a reason here. So it added the reason name. So right now by default the condition is always true, and here it is saying approvers. You can see this again, one more tree, right? So if we add multiple reasons, this will be a tree kind of structure. So in single reason, so for a particular situation, like in real time, like one person may needs to approve or multiple persons may needs to approve. So in that scenario, there's going to be another tree in the approvals area. Otherwise there will be only one approver here, and if you have multiple reasons, here you can see a multiple trees. So I can say discount check 2. So now you got 2 approvals. I'll say discount check 3. So now we have 3 approvals. Like that, we can expand our tree. And one more thing is, when you have this kind of parallel approvals, that means whenever this condition got satisfied, this will run. Whenever this condition got satisfied, this will run. These are three reasons right now. What you are seeing is reason tree. So in this reason tree, so when you have parallel approvals, they are all independent. They are all just dependent on their conditions, not on other reasons. So when, if for example, all these conditions are always true, right? So by default, all these conditions, sorry, all these reasons will get triggered. So if you have like this is only two are always true and this is having some condition. So if that condition got failed for reason 3, only first two approvals will get triggered on the code. So that's how it's going to be when it's a parallel approval. So you can add serial approvals also. So if you observe this plus icon, here it is there, it's going to be a parallel thing. If you see the plus icon on the reason itself, so I'm clicking for the first reason. It's adding in the below level. So that means this is a serial approval. So after this approval, if you want to execute something like this, another approval, so basing on hierarchy, so then you want to add it as a serial approval. So if not, you can add it as a parallel approval. That means every reason will trigger at one particular time, dependent on only their reason conditions, not on other reasons. So if it is this way, so you can you can make dependency of other reasons as well. That's how it will work. So let's delete all. Sorry, let's yeah, I can delete it. I'll show you the approval tree as well. So let's create a new reason. So this is a reason. Variable name got automatically populated. So we need to give the condition, right? What is this required in sequence is, so you saw I added approvals in parallel way and serial way. So if you want to whenever you add the structure in serial way, so if you want this to be executed in sequence manner, for example, the first level of approval is there, so after that there is a below reason is there, right? So if your case is like once the first level related approval got triggered, so after that only if you want to execute second tier approval, so then you need to check this required in sequence, then only it will execute in order. Otherwise both will trigger at the same time, only depending on their individual conditions, not with respect to other reasons. If you check this only, then only it will also consider the previous reasons. If there are any reasons after that only, they need to execute like that. So right now we have conditions when this reason should trigger, when this approval should trigger. So we need to give conditions. Initially always true, it's there, simple condition and advanced condition. So right now what is simple condition is like we can enter the conditions, individual conditions. Let's say discount. I'm entering discount here. Operators you need to select. So like if you observe the validation rule, we have a simple condition and advanced condition, right? As you are dependent on other attribute value instead of for example, if the discount is greater than 50, my condition is I will use this simple condition and I can add this when I click this plus button, so it will add one row and we can add multiple conditions here. So for all those conditions, it will ask and or all and all or all. So right now we have only one, right? I'll say So now I have two conditions here. I can click and or I can click or, like that. So if you have like these kind of direct conditions, you can write it. Otherwise, you need to write similarly how we did in the uh, advanced condition of the rule. Similarly, the editor is going to be like we having 4 tabs. We can add inputs like system attributes, code level attributes, line level attributes, and util functions. So library functions means nothing but util. Whatever the util libraries are there on the administration page, those will also come. And whatever the library functions you created at the process level, commerce library function, those will also be available. So we can use our flags to simplify the things. So whenever what we do is, so right now this is the our transaction, right? So we are deciding we should go for approvals or not. So that's this is the flag we are dependent on. If this is yes, we need to trigger approvals. Otherwise, we are not triggering approvals. But so as we want to simplify it right now, the situation is we are checking this flag, and one more thing is we are checking this condition. If discount is greater than maximum discount, then only we need to trigger it for approvals. Otherwise, we should not trigger, even though it is yes. For example, treat second one is also yes, but here the maximum discount is under the discount limit, nothing but the maximum discount, the user entered discount. So even though it is yes, here the condition is failing, we don't trigger approvals even though it is required. So that's how we are dependent on this flag now. And to avoid this calculation check or comparison check, discount is greater than or less than max discount check, so we can create one more flag at the line level. So this approval is required or not, this is already flagged, right? So discount approval is there or not, you can create one more flag. So instead of checking this condition at here, so you can use simply that flag. So you'll create one more flag at line level, so you can simply use it. Otherwise, you need to know this calculation, whether this is approved, this approval is required or not, and this discount is greater than maximum discount or not. You need to check these two conditions. If you simply drop a flag here, create at line level, and you check both these conditions and simply return one more boolean, discount approval required is true or false. So basing on that, you can trigger approvals. Here, so simply we don't have any that logic right now, so let's write advanced condition. So we are dependent on line level attributes, right? So our attributes are max discount, means approval required, and discount. We have this condition already, right? So we can tweak this instead of writing again. So our condition is discount greater than maximum discount. Yeah, if it is exceeding maximum discount, we need to trigger approval. And one more thing we need to consider is is approval required or not. It should be yes when we are triggering approvals, right? So it should be yes. So and here if you observe, this is also condition whether this approval regime should trigger or not. So always it's a return type is boolean. So we can leave this return types as it is. We can copy this. I just pasted it. So let's check whether we have any approval, errors or not. It is saying okay. So earlier we wrote the rule, this whatever this logic is there at line level rule. So that's why it don't need a line level loop on the, we don't need to loop on sub document. So right now it's a general snippet like script area. So where we need to mention if you want to use a line level loop, line level attributes. So you can see it in the sub document level, right? You need to loop on the sub document and then you need to trigger it. So what we need to do is we need to loop on the sub document for each line. So this each line is nothing but my iteration variable in sub document. So I'm looping on my sub document. So if you are, when you are looping on sub document and you are accessing line level layouts, you need to access them through, I mean, along with iteration variable. So I mapped with iteration variable and I'm returning return true or return false. So as we are looping on the line level, I mean sub document. So if we are simply returning it true here, for example, we have 3 lines. Let's suppose I have 3 lines. So for first line, we don't need approval. Second line, we don't need approval. Third line, we need approval. This is our example. So when we are looping on the sub document for the first time, it will see first row. Here, this condition is not getting satisfied. So then what it will do? It will skip it. It won't execute this loop and it will go for this. And if it is no, for the second time also, this condition won't get executed and it will go to the third loop. And if it is yes, so this will get executed and it will return true. So right now our condition is if there is at least one approval, I mean one a line is satisfied, one line, even one line is requiring any approval, so we need to trigger this condition. So in this case this is fine, but generally how we do is, so we'll maintain a flag. For example, if you are looping, if you are checking for if your condition needs checking with all the line items, so if you write like this, if for example if the third line, so whenever you come across return statement, it will skip everything and it will jump out of the editor. So then it will return the value. So in that scenario, if you don't want to skip the remaining rows, so then simply you will maintain a flag. You can give any variable name equals to true. So here instead of returning, you are just maintaining a flag. So you can say, you can initialize this flag here. Flag equals to false. So you can maintain a flag here. So when you are looping on multiple items, even though the condition got satisfied, you are still checking. So in such scenarios, you will be requiring some other kind of variable instead of flag. So you can treat it as count. I'll say count as 0. I'll just say count. If this condition got satisfied, count equals to count plus 1. So I'm just maintaining a variable, a counter. So I'm just incrementing it whenever this condition got met. So if you have any explicit conditions, for example, if this on this approval, if more than 3 parts are having issue, then only I need to trigger approval. In such scenario, you might be needing this count kind of logic. If you have the condition like if blindly any one approval, I mean one part is having any issue, so you just need to trigger approval. So then you can simply use this flag kind of thing, because if one thing got satisfied, based on that value, we can execute our logic, right? So in such cases, this is fine. If you have any like count related or each value or each part related condition, if your condition is dependent on all the existing parts, so then you need to go for this count kind of logic. So right now our situation is just even if there is one issue on the line item grid, we need to trigger approval, right? So in such scenario, we can skip this. So like this, we can execute directly. So let's check this. Yeah, we got no errors. Let's save it. So far, just now we decided when this reason should run, and we created reason and we gave condition also. Just save it. You can see the actions at the right side top corner, right? I just clicked save. So now, if you click reasons flow, whatever the list of reasons there, that reason tree will be appeared. If you click approvals flow, so it is asking you to add an approver. So you can use the simple selection or advanced selection, like to select an approver. So this is there is a condition, there is a reason on the approval on the code. Now discount is greater than maximum discount. This should be allowed or not. So we are asking, we are doing some check. So whom it should be approved, by whom? So that we need to tell it here. So by using simple, we can simply type the name. So right now the user is Matthew, right? We are using. I'm selecting Matthew, should approve. So you can add multiple people. So if your logic is not, you can't just blindly add approvers. So then you need to go for advanced condition. So if the discount is greater than, like if it got exceeded maximum discount, it's greater than 50, maximum discount is 50, it got exceeded that. But even though it got exceeded that, so if you have conditions like, let's say, where is my Excel sheet? Yeah, max equals to 50, user entered is 75. So like there will be in different scenarios in business. So instead of the simple approvals, what they will maintain is the way they may maintain some tire based approvals or some condition based approvals or quantity based approvals, like that. So they will maintain one more data table. I mean, we need to maintain it, they will provide the data. So what it will be doing is, so if the user entered discount is user entered discount is greater than 50, then Matthew should execute. I mean, Matthew should approve. If it is greater than 60, Karthik. So if we have conditions like this for a single reason, so then we need to go for advanced logic here. So basing on that value, so we need to fetch the respect to approver, whom should approve. So then we can return that approver name here. So otherwise, we can use this simple condition and we can select the approvers here. If you have single approver or multiple approvals, we can add it. So I'm simply clicking save. So now you can see. So earlier it is not discount check here. Earlier it is a approval tree or a reason tree. So now on this particular reason you are writing approvers, right? So that's why it is showing this particular reason. Discount check is one reason. So in this reason, so you are working on approvers. So here you added one approver. It will show you the count here, how many approvers are there. Here you added one approver, so that approver is Matthew. And you can add a condition even for this approval also. Like similarly, now we said, right, if it's a single approval, so we are blindly using always true. So if there is a condition like similarly how we wrote in Excel, so like this, so we need to check this. If the discount is greater than 50, Matthew should approve. If it's greater than 60, one more approver, like Karthik should approve, like that. So we can add multiple reasons and multiple approvers here. So as we are done, just save it. So now you can see the main tree on the submit action. So this is one reason, and for one reason there is a condition. What we wrote the condition, and there is an approval. Approver is one approver only. If you want multiple approvers, you can add them. I saved it. So now I'm going back to my submit action. So once I'm done with my submit action, I mean the approval related changes, I'm simply updating it. I'm deploying the changes. It got deployed. So let's refresh the transaction. I'm just canceling it as we just click submit, right? So when we refresh the page, it's asking the submit content again because the last action is submit. So now I'm simply open the transaction and going to the approvals tab. So right now there is nothing, right? So let's click submit action now. So when I'm clicking submit, so it is saying approval is needed for the following reasons. We added one reason, right? So that's what it is showing. If you have multiple reasons, it will show you the list of reasons all. So then we may give some comment. So who is submitting this code? Why he is submitting this code? Anything you can add in the comment. It's not mandatory. I'm clicking submit here. If you don't want, you can simply click cancel. It will revert to the general state. I'm clicking submit. So now I click submit. So as there is right now some approval related reasons are active on the code, so it won't perform submit action. So even though you do step transition on the submit action, it won't get performed because the action got performed is request for approval. So on this, there are some reasons got existing. We need to approve it. Like whoever the person is there, he needs to approve that particular reason. So if you see approvals tab, now there is a change in all the values you can see, except this one. If I highlight, you can see one here, right? This value. So this value is nothing but we didn't upload, I mean, we didn't revise this code yet. So if you revise it, you can see one more incrementation in this number. So I will ignore everything. What I will do is I will revise the submit action. I mean revise this code. I'm clicking on revise. So now you can see everything got cleared off. So you can see the status, no approvals are pending because the code is got revised. So now you can see the only changes approval revision. It is 2 now. Earlier it is 1, right? So now you can see the value as 2 here. So that means this is the second version of your code, second revision of your code. You already created a code, you made some changes, you submitted it, and you revised it. So now you can do some more changes. So it's just a tracking of that revision action. So now I'm going back to the tab, so I can see everything is normal. So now I can do, let's treat, I made some changes. So instead of 75, I did 70. So I'll after changing the discounts, what I need to do, so I need to perform apply discounts, right? So I'll do my update discounts. It's not mandatory because we don't have any validation rules on it. So it's just for my calculation purpose. I can see the change in updated final price here. So it's done. So now as I'm done with the things, I'll submit it again after revision. So it got a reason triggered again because it is still met with the condition. It is approval is required, yes. And one more thing is discount is greater than maximum discount. So I'll submit. You can give some comment. I'm submitting it. Yeah, so it's done. So if I go to the approvals tab, so you can see everything. This is still same because we didn't revise it again yet. So the revision number is still 2. That means we are on the second revision of this code. And the first attribute, if you see, it is saying the discount reason. I mean, reason is discount check. This is the reason name. And we can add whatever the comment you want while you are performing. You can see at the last, this is approve action. This is reject action. We didn't add it on the layout manually, if you observe. So when we created a submit action, we have four set of actions automatically got triggered. One is request for approval. It will be there at the back end. We can't add it on the layout, or we can see on the layout. The next one is revise. Revise is nothing but after performing some changes, we can, if you want to clear them off and we want to start it freshly, you can click on revise action. So you added it on the layout manually, and even the submit action also. So what are left else? So submit is done, revise is done. Both we added manually. Request for approval we can't add on the layout, and 2 more actions is approve and reject. So when you add this my approval attribute, so in this attribute only these 2 actions will be there, and they will be added by default automatically. So when this attribute got added, so now you can see those 2 actions as well. So if you want to reject this code, you can click this cross mark. If you want to approve this code, you can click this tick mark. So I will say approve. Whatever the comment you want, you can do that. And this is my approval, and you can see approval status. Earlier it is no approvals pending, but now you can see currently pending approvals from Matthew. If there are any other approvals also, it will show all those names. Currently pending approvals from Matthew, Karthik, Prudvi, like that, everything. Approval history, you can see user Matthew submitted for approval on date. So we just submitted it, right? So after revision, you can see one more thing is test revision is 2. Whatever this approval history will contain is revision based history. So on this second revision, if you see here, the revision is 2, right? So on this second revision, whatever the changes are there, it will show. If you click revise again, so it won't show all this stuff. It will show simply this is a revision 3. So after that, if you submit for approvals, so it will show only revision number based history. It will show. If you revise, everything from the history will go off. So that's how approvals history will maintain the data. So here you can see. So now currently pending approvals is Matthew, right? So I am the Matthew. So I'm simply clicking it, approve. So clicked approve, right? So you can see the approval status, latest approval status. No approvals are pending. And in the approvals history, you can see User Matthew submitted for approval. We know that approval is completed with comments test. I gave test, right? So the revision 2. So we can see that. And one more thing is user Matthew. So I just upload the reason, right? So it is saying that reason got approved, and with comment I added a comment here, approve. So it is showing that as well. So that's how it will track the history. And the main thing you need to remember is revision based history. So once the revision got changed, right now we have 3 records, right? If I revise it, those 3 records will go off. You can see. So approval history is empty now. So you can see revision 2. This got revised. So the revision number is 2. That revision version of code is got revised by Matthew on date this one. So you can see current approval revision number is 3. Here you can see this is the new revision number. So like that, these 4 attributes are linked with our approvals. So once it is fine, so what it means is when it got approved, even though maximum discount is 50, for some reasons or basing on our approval reasons, so our approver is okay with it and he approved the code. So that's why the finalized discount will still be, I mean, we won't modify this discount. There won't be any situation. We won't modify this discount, and we will conclude this price as final price. And one more thing is, so once you submit for approval, so if the code status got approved, so you need to write, I'm not writing step transition now. So once you write perform submit or anything, so once you practice it, right, so write step transitions on each and every action. Then you click approve, I mean when you click submit action, so you need to write step transition like it go to approved step. So if it is a request for approval, if there are any existing reasons are there, so when you click submit, it won't take it. It will automatically, it will at backend, it will trigger request for approval. So on that request for approval, you need to write one more one more step transition. So that step transition will be like pending for approvals. So right now there are approvals, so we are it is yet pending, like that. So you need to write step transitions, and then you can see. And once it is approved, once the code is submit or approved step, so then you won't make this all fields editable. So you know, right, on every step we have document views. So in the steps, go to approved step whenever you create it. So in that approved step, make all these fields as read only, because once it is approved, you don't expect any changes, right? This code is finalized, so you don't want any other person to modify these values and generate some new values, because this code is already approved. If that is the case, if you want to modify it, so it will still be read only. Once you click revise, it will go to the some other step. For example, you can treat it as draft step. In the draft step, you already mentioned it is editable, because this is editable earlier, right? So it will be editable, still editable in the draft step. Then only he can modify this. So once you are in approach step, you don't expect any changes. It depends on your requirement. So mostly they won't allow users to change once it is approved. So that's how these approvals will behave. The complexity where it will go is the vast conditions on the discountings and the vast conditions of approval trees. So they will maintain some level of approvals, level 1 approval, level 2 approval. So those levels are nothing but similarly how we seen this action. So they will treat it as you can treat it as level 1, level 2, and level 3. And like for example, right now whatever the project I do, so in that project there are some level of approvals. So those level of approvals is dependent on total transaction value. So for example, this is the code, right, we are working on. So as a final result, we will be maintaining some transaction total here, right? So whatever this final price is there, the whole price you will sum up, and you will you need to set to transaction total, because we can't allow user to create as much of as of which he can buy like as many parts he want. So we have a restriction here. So if the transaction total is more than $500, this is our level 1. Like that we have level 2, level 3. We have like 5 or 6 levels. So basing on the transaction total, we will create one more reason. Right now you created one reason, right, discount check. Similarly we will add one more. We have one more reason like transaction total check. So what we'll do is we'll consider all these things. So we'll consider the transaction total as a condition. If it's greater than $500, if it's greater than $1,000, so like that we will maintain levels, and we will have everything this data in the data table. So basing on the data table, we will fetch. If it's a level 1, nothing but we will say level 1 is greater than 500. In the data table, if it's greater than 500, who is the approver? We will get that approver and we will trigger the respective approval. If it's less than $500, simply we are not triggering any approvals. Like that. So the complexity just goes with the approval is all these conditions, because they will be having huge business scenarios, right? That's where the complexity comes. The difficulty is nothing but how you maintain the data in the data tables, or how you write your logic, how you query the code, how many line loops you are taking. So to avoid some line loops, you can have one line loop at the beginning, so you can maintain everything related to whatever the required data. For example, there will be some situations you might need to loop on the subdocument twice. So for example, this subdocument is having 50 or 100 attributes. So if you are looping twice, so that subdocument, if it's have 50 attributes and 50 parts, so you're I hope you are getting right. This is subdocument section, one subdocument section. When I say 50 attributes, we have 50 columns in it, and when I say 50 parts, we have 50 rows in the subdocument. So if it is that complex, when we are writing two subdocument loops, so it will be a very huge task, right? So to avoid that, so what we'll do is in the first loop only we'll create a dictionary. This is the part number. I will store all the part related information, because right now we have 50 attributes, 50 columns. We are not needing 50 columns information. So I just need only 22 column information. So in this dictionary, what I will do is I will use this part as key and I will store all the values. So similarly, we wrote one logic. If you observe, we use dictionaries, right? Basing on the part, we are getting its maximum discount. It's I have it in Notepad, I guess. There is, yeah. So here you can see we maintained a dictionary in the first. This is a dictionary on the query. Okay, the record set. So when we are looping on the subdocument, we can maintain one more dictionary. So dictionary name. Here I will treat it as part number and along with my column name. Instead of unit price, I will use my column name and its value here. Similarly, I will maintain all these 22 column values and its attribute values along with part number. And one more thing, if you are maintaining a dictionary on the loop subdocument, the part number will not be just enough, because you may have multiple parts in a subdocument. So you need to consider your document number and the key as well. So my key is going to be doc number plus part name plus column name. So like that, you just need to differentiate your key, how unique it should be. Like that, you just need to decide. So if you maintain everything in the dictionary in the first loop itself, whenever you want to execute some more logic, you don't need to loop on the line loop again. Simply whatever this dictionary is there, in this you have all the list of parts, right? So instead of looping on the whole subdocument, you will just loop on the dictionary keys, because this dictionary keys is having all your list of parts along with all your list of data. So instead of this, I'll ignore it, subdocument. I'll just loop on my dictionary keys whenever I need a loop. So that's how you can optimize your logic. So basing on your requirement. Do you have any questions, guys? Or it's confusing? It will be easy only. The only complexity where it comes is how to maintain the huge data given by our business. That's where the complexity comes with the approvals. Otherwise, everything is fine. Everything is easy. Yeah. If you have any questions, like you can ask me.
No, Karthik.
Okay. Um, so that's how we deal with approvals. So we can create multiple submit actions if you want to segregate your business. So you can maintain some approval tree belonging to some like scenario, or else you can maintain some another approval tree with another submit action for some other category. So like that you can differentiate your approvals, or else you can maintain a single approval and you can classify everything with your data tables, and you can trigger the reasons, trigger the conditions, match the approvers, like that, basing on the complexity of your requirement. And that's how we can like block the quote from performing some action using validation rule.